You are listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, with me, Alex Merced. On this show, we'll be talking about the ins and outs of branding and how to empower yourself by defining yourself. We'll talk about the tools, the methods, the strategies, so that way you can take a brand to achieve your goals in your personal life, your professional life, in all of your life. If you need help implementing these ideas and using these tools to achieve your goals, contact Alex Merced to be your branding coach by heading over to mercedbranding.com. Hey everybody, this is Alex Merced, and you're listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced, podcast on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, wherever your podcasts can be found. So this is the first episode, so I'd like to welcome all you guys. Thank you guys for listening to this episode of this podcast. And basically, the purpose of this episode is to explain to you sort of what we'll be doing over the next several and hopefully many episodes together regarding the world of branding. So the purpose of this podcast is to transmit as much knowledge to you about developing a brand, what is a brand, thinking through strategically how to use branding. Two, what tools you have out there to help you in your branding efforts. And not only will I be discussing these tools here on this podcast, but also over there at mercedbranding.com. Basically there you'll find my blog where I'll be basically posting about a lot of these tools, posting about a lot of these strategies. So over there you can find a lot of other also useful tools and useful knowledge regarding branding. And basically the idea here is to empower you by defining you, because one of the things that can be a benefit, an asset, or a liability is a brand. And oftentimes when there's a lack of a brand, someone else will fill that vacuum. So if you don't define yourself, somebody else will. And if somebody else does, they're going to limit the doors that are open for you, the opportunities that are present for you. So you want to define yourself when you can, all the time that you can, to the people that matter to you. So that's sort of the goal here, because at the end of the day, all what a brand is, and here I'm really focusing more on a personal brand, meaning who are you? What do other people think of you? And not only just determining sort of what you want the message to send, but learning how to send that message in every aspect, in the way you present yourself, in using the internet, and in the way that you live your life. But everything that we're going to learn can be used beyond just your personal brand. These techniques, these strategies can be used on any business brand that you have, any organizational brand that you have. Many of these concepts are very useful. But a bottom line is branding is important, because people only have so much time to think about all the different choices they make, whether it is to hire you, to spend time with you, to hire you as a speaker, to get you involved on a project. So you need to be able to communicate and establish that brand, that identity of what it is that you know, what you bring to the table, quickly as possible. And that requires you to establish that brand ahead of time. So basically, people need to make a decision in a moment, but you're going to be spending a lot of time facilitating their ability to make that decision in one moment, okay, by creating that atmosphere. And basically, a little bit about myself so you can understand sort of why I feel so passionate about branding. I've spent a large part of my life discovering what is my brand and realizing that, at the end of the day, all of us are actually many brands, because none of us just have one thing that we do. Okay, but the problem is you can't have your brand be all the things that you do. You have to create a brand for each thing that you do. Okay, so in this case, here at Brand Me, Alex Merced, my brand is that I am a branding coach. I am someone who's made different brands, established different brands over time, over and over again, and have learned a lot of techniques, a lot of strategies, a lot of thought processes over the years. Whether it was my time as a concert promoter in college, where I had the brand was Fastly Numb Music, and I had established that, so that way people knew when you went to a Fastly Numb Music concert, what kind of music would you be listening to, what kind of experience would you have. Or when I owned a hobby retail store, the Gamers Lounge, and making sure that when people thought the Gamers Lounge, not only do they know what we did, but the kind of experience that they would have. These are the kind of things you're trying to communicate with your brand. And there's a lot of elements to doing that. So each of these sort of life experiences, I've also been heavily involved in politics, where I had to kind of create a brand for myself as a candidate, or create a brand for myself as an activist. Or I worked in financial training, and where basically the company I worked for, Greco Financial Training, had to establish a brand, and I've helped my boss there also establish his own personal brand. So there's been a lot of times where I've had to establish brands in different areas, and I'm branding every day. So over these episodes, I will tell you the stories of a lot of these individual brands, so you can kind of learn what I did for each of these brands, and what I did to and what was I trying to communicate, and why I made the choices I made. And again, I didn't always make the right choice. What you have to teach is not just from your successes, also from your failures. So a lot of what I'll be doing in many episodes is talking to you about the things that I did wrong. Okay, where I oversaturated a brand because I tried to make it too many things to too many people, or things like that. So that's what this show is going to be about. So basically, hopefully, by listening to this show, you will have the tools, you will have the knowledge to define yourself. Now, of course, sometimes we have all the knowledge in the world and we need a little extra help, and I'm here to help you out. So if you do want to hire someone to help kind of coach you along, kind of be there to encourage you, help you think through some of these things, I am a branding coach, and you can reach out to me over there at mercedbranding.com. Again, there you also find the blog with a lot of great resources. But first, let's get the knowledge in your head. And all that costs you is your time. So this will be a weekly podcast. So all I ask is give me a few minutes every week to give you a little bit of information about how you can define yourself to achieve your goals. We'll talk about different goals as well, and how you can use branding to achieve those goals, and we'll kind of go from there. But again, this episode, we're just introducing to you what we will be doing. We look forward to seeing you for episodes and episodes to come. My name is Alex Merced, and you're listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced. Thank you for listening to Brand Me, Alex Merced on iTunes, Google Play, and Stitcher, and wherever you listen to your podcasts. Make sure to like Alex Merced on Facebook, on Twitter, and head over to mercedbranding.com to find us on social media and find other useful advice and resources in marketing and achieving your goals.